TankTheTech on the truth about Live Nation and Ticketmaster's power. Let's see what he's got to say.
Today I wanted to talk about this because I'm sure everybody, if you follow music,
no problem, Butch,
or music news, you've seen what's going on. Ticketmaster and Live Nation done f***ed up. And the funniest part about this whole story is that
video from
it took Taylor Swift calling them out to bring any attention to it for some fucking reason. This has been happening for a decade. So for anybody that's not familiar, Live Nation is a music promoter.
True.
Ticketmaster is a ticket seller.
True.
And in 2010, Live Nation and Ticketmaster combined to form Live Nation Entertainment. Future Tank here. I'm in the middle of editing this video. It's like 1 a.m. And I remembered I came across something earlier in the day that I feel as though summarizes this entire situation very well. And I want to read this to you guys. I'm not going to read the exact quote, but I will put it on screen in case anybody wants to see the whole thing. But this is actually coming from Robert Reich, who is the former labor secretary for the U.S., and he said that Ticketmaster's monopoly started in 1991 when it acquired its main rival in computerized ticketing, Ticketron, putting 90% of the ticketing business in the hands of one firm, Ticketmaster, and giving it the power to tack on an ever-rising assortment of fees, now as much a part of concert experience as sticky floors and shoving.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's right. It's like, I think with almost every single show that I've ever been to that's like of a band that's like, of a little bit of a higher status, so to speak, a lot of times you buy tickets through Live Nation or Ticketmaster. Like, they definitely have a stranglehold from what I've seen.
A few years later, Ticketmaster merged with Live Nation. That was 2010 again.
That was 2010? Wow. Okay.
The world's largest promotion company. So the combined entity could keep all of the fees and more to itself. The combined firm was chaired by Irving Azoff. Now, really quick, for anybody who doesn't know who Irving Azoff is, massive manager in the music industry. This guy is known as one of the most powerful people in the music business.
Okay.
And they joke that he is the tallest person in Hollywood when he stands on his money. He has managed a lot of huge bands.
Hey, man, I wish somebody would say that about me. Like, if some people were like, yo, Rich is so tall because he stands on his money. I like that.
And now he is in charge of Live Nation Entertainment.
Okay.
And in his New York Times profile, he confessed himself a serial liar and talked about how he put pictures of himself giving the middle finger on his own stationery. Monopolies exert power in several ways, and not just in high prices. They also exert power through failing to invest in their products and services. Either way, they make extra money by shafting customers.
True, yeah.
They also exert...
I mean, that's the thing with all these ticket companies is that you always have like these fucking fees that are ridiculous. In my opinion, like the fees are just like, because here's the thing, right? I guess technically, sure, you could go to the box office and buy tickets like in person, but like for a lot of people, it's like a lot of these venues are, far away and whatnot. Yeah, online ticket fee, email delivery fee. And it's like, it's almost like a cable bill where you see these fees and you're like, what is this? What is the mechanism that makes this cost what it does? And nobody ever explains that. It's almost just like arbitrary. Maybe Tank will touch on that in the video, but to me, I've always viewed these fees as just super, like, they just pick a number. Like, there's really no rhyme or reason to it.
Political power that shafts everyone. Why in hell did the Obama administration ultimately approve the Ticketmaster Live Nation merger? Perhaps because both firms were major political players.
Yeah.
Immediately after the Justice Department consented to the merger, the combo began violating the consent agreement, charging outrageous fees, allowing the sale of tickets to bots, and suppressing competitors who had developed ways of blocking scalpers like Songkick.
Okay.
It acted so badly, even the Trump administration had to rework the merger agreement, but not by much.
Okay.
Now, the Justice Department's antitrust division has launched an investigation. But now here we are today where Live Nation and Ticketmaster have f***ed up so hard that Taylor Swift spoke out about it, and now the Justice Department is launching an investigation into Live Nation and how it's handling promotion and ticket sales. This is from the New York Times. It says, the Justice Department has opened an antitrust investigation into the owner of Ticketmaster, whose sale of Taylor Swift concert tickets descended into chaos this week, said 2 people with knowledge of the matter. The investigation is focused on whether Live Nation Entertainment has abused its power over the multi-billion-dollar live music industry.
It has.
All right, that brings us to what we need to fucking talk about here. Live Nation Entertainment being a monopoly, because they fucking are. I don't care what anybody says. And
They are. I mean, to me, they are a monopoly. It's almost like, are they technically a monopoly by the word of law? Who knows? But it's like, is Amazon a monopoly? Yeah, but they're not by law. Like, there's plenty of examples of this where it's like, the other shining example of a fucking monopoly. Yeah, they are the, like I said, I do not recall an event that I've been to where Live Nation or Ticketmaster is not involved. Like unless it's like, like a local show or whatever. But like, I remember, I think like the last time where I really noticed the fees being super outrageous was like my son. He used to be super into like wrestling, and I brought him to WrestleMania. I don't know how many years ago at this point, but the fees are like over $100. And I'm like, for what? Like, I bought the fucking tickets. Like, I get that, they need to make a cut, but it's like, what, like, and there's no way around it either. I mean, like, what else are you going to do? That's the thing, right? It's like, there's no alternatives for this. Like to go buy tickets. Like, there's not like, oh, I can buy tickets at Ticketmaster or this place or that place. It's like, no, like, this is the place you have to go to. And that could be due to like partnerships, agreements with the artists or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. To me, it's ridiculous.
We'll say that a lot of it,
yes, I am
I'm
a dad.
Say in this conversation or opinion based on my experience in the music industry. And there's probably some people that may come across this video and have never seen me, and they're like, "What does this guy know?"
Yeah. What do you
know?
On
top of touring in the music industry for 15 years as a roadie,
yeah,
I was an employee of Live Nation Entertainment from 2013 to 2015.
All right, well, now we all hate Tank. He's part of the problem, people. I'm kidding. Hi, Tank.
I have seen how this fucking company operates.
Yeah.
More specifically,
first-hand knowledge.
I was working for a company that was involved in a merger with Live Nation.
Okay.
At the time, aside from taking freelance tours as a drum tech and a bass tech, I was a merchandise manager for a company called FEA Merchandise.
Okay.
Did a lot of tours. One of the bigger merchandise companies at the time in the game. They got bought by Live Nation.
Right.
Live Nation flew all of us out, like us being the road merchandise managers.
Okay.
They flew all of us out to do training on their systems, which fucking suck. The way that they handle merchandise for tours is fucking ridiculous. But after that merger happened, they had us start operating how Live Nation wanted us to. And we've spent a lot of time talking about merch fees and stuff on this channel and stuff like that. But when I'm moving the volume of merchandise that we were doing, like on these tours and stuff like that, like, dude, just think about this for a second. Live Nation Entertainment is a promoter. They promote tours. They also own a shitload of music venues. They also own Ticketmaster. They also own merch companies. So when you have one company that's promoting the show, selling the tickets to the show, owns the venue, and has the fucking merchandise on that tour,
you get fucked.
One company is making all of this money. It's fucking absurd. But the big problem with them being a monopoly is that when they bought Ticketmaster, they started forcing bands and artists and, I mean, really anybody else, like touring comedians, theater, stuff like that. They were forcing people to use Ticketmaster. They were basically...
Oh, so if they came through a venue that was owned by them, they had to sell the tickets through Ticketmaster? Am I understanding that correctly? Okay.
behind the scenes telling bands that were playing at their venues, like,
Yeah.
if you don't use our company, Ticketmaster, we're just never going to fucking book you again. In a statement posted to its website on Friday night.
I mean, listen, like, that's definitely, like, I don't know. Like, I see it from both sides, right? Like, it's kind of like, oh, shit. But at the same time, it's like, hey, that's business, you know? And it's like, the fact of the matter is that if you want to play at the venue, sometimes you got to play ball. In my opinion, I definitely think that it's, you know, less than pleasant, but that's it's unfortunate. Yeah.
Live Nation said it takes its responsibility under the antitrust laws seriously and does not engage in behaviors that could justify antitrust litigation. It said that the markets for concert promotion and ticketing services were both competitive. A spokeswoman for the Justice Department declined to comment. This is opinion, but after working so many tours that Live Nation has promoted and working for their company and stuff like that, I would say Live Nation skirts the line of behaviors that could justify antitrust litigation. They know what they can get away with, and they're going to fucking do all of it. You know, before the pandemic, for 5...
Like, I'm sitting here, like, throughout the video, and I'm trying to think of, like, other ticket, like, sellers. Like, the only one that I can think of is, like, Eventbrite. I don't know if you guys ever heard of them. I'm having trouble, like, thinking of another ticketing, like, broker, if you will. I can't. Right now, I can't think of any.
5 years. Almost 6 years I worked for
Nothing else
Dustin
in Canada.
Lynch, as most of you guys know, country artist from Nashville. I don't think we did any tours that weren't Live Nation. Some of those tours had a fucking Live Nation rep out with them.
Let's look at this real quick. How many music venues does Live Nation own? Let's see. See if we can find this real quick. Live Nation owns or has equity interest in over 30 concert venues, looking to add to that total. That was from 2019. Who knows what it is today? Okay. That doesn't seem like a lot, to be fair. I don't know.
On their own bus, traveling with us everywhere. In 2019, its last year of business unaffected by the COVID-19 pandemic, Live Nation put on 40,000 events around the world and sold 485 million tickets through Ticketmaster, according to the company's annual report. Live Nation is one of the music industry's biggest powers in the management of artists. We haven't even fucking talked about that yet. So here we go. We got Live Nation, who is the world's biggest concert promoter, who now owns the world's largest ticketing service, who also has a management firm that manages the bands that they're gonna be booking, who also owns a shitload of the venues that they're gonna be booking them at.
Yeah, I mean, they're a one-stop shop for, you know, getting it all done.
Who also owns a merch company that does merchandise for the bands that they manage on tour. How the fuck does that make, like, I just don't understand, like, how anybody could let this happen when it did.
Well, I mean, I don't know. To me, I kind of view it like, for example, Amazon, you know, they have video streaming, they have, you know, retail, they have pharmaceuticals now. I mean, it's just, I think it's diversifying it. Like, I don't really necessarily have a problem with that necessarily, like a company trying to be like the one-stop shop. I think that that's what a lot of companies would love to be. Like, if you could go to one store and get everything you possibly need, that's a dream for a company, because then, you know, that really, you know, I think would also increase market share in these other areas just by virtue of being so convenient.
When the Justice Department approved the merger over significant opposition from the music industry, it required the company to sell some parts of its business. It also reached a legal settlement with the company that forbade Live Nation to threaten concert venues with losing access to its tours if those venues decided to use ticketing providers other than Ticketmaster. In late 2019, after an investigation, the Justice Department found that Live Nation had repeatedly violated this provision of its decree. So even though they had an agreement at the merger that they weren't allowed to, as Ray Gore said, strong arm people into using Ticketmaster, they were still doing it. And they were getting away with it. because a lot of these bands don't have another alternative to use ticketing if they're doing these Live Nation promoted tours. So the rest of the article just details what happened with the Taylor Swift thing. And basically...
Wait a minute. Okay, so... I don't know. Like, I kind of... Like, I get it, right? Like, and I don't want to be a guy who's, like, defending the corporation, because I think, you know, fuck them. Like, the fees are just fucking crazy. That alone pisses me off. But, like... I don't know. There's something to be said about, like, if you go on a tour that's run by a company that, you know, has these practices or has, like, these contracts with this kind of language, I mean, I don't know. I guess, like, it's tough, right? Like, to me, it's tough.
The system was so fucking overloaded because so many people were trying to buy tickets that the whole system shut down, and then people who already had tickets got notifications that they didn't get the tickets. And
I saw one article that a guy was trying to buy ZZ Top tickets, and the thing glitched out, and he accidentally got front row tickets to Taylor Swift, and he's going to resell them for a lot of money. So big ups to that guy. That guy's awesome.
It was a giant thing. And somebody else in our chat a little while ago said the same thing happened when they were getting Spirit Box tickets the other day. Spirit Box, who I don't think I need to tell anybody is smaller than Taylor Swift.
True.
And people are having problems buying Spirit Box tickets right now because their system is so crazy.
Listen, man, here's the thing. As somebody who's been playing, I'm going to tie a World of Warcraft reference into this. As somebody who's been playing World of Warcraft for a long time, just because a company is a multi-billion-dollar company does not mean that their shit works or that they have, you know, thorough customer service or anything like that. And that happens all the time. Like, there's just not, there's just, like, it doesn't surprise me at all that, like that even though they're a billion-dollar company, because here's the thing. With them being as prominent as they are in these services, you don't really have a choice. So they can kind of, they can drop the ball on a lot of things, like making sure these different systems work or customer service is up to snuff. Because let's face it, you there's nowhere else to fucking go, baby. So just figure it out. Yeah, look at EA and their game. Right, they're the only ones that do Madden. You're not going to play another football game. What incentive do they have to improve upon these things? In general, I think competition, just is ultimately better for a consumer, better for a customer. But there really isn't anything else out there that's even remote. Like who are like we were just talking about. I literally, like, there's Eventbrite, there's Live Nation, Ticketmaster. Like I literally cannot think of another one. Maybe I'm forgetting or something, but like I can't. Eventbrite sucks for fees too. But you know.
But one of the things I wanted to check out that I found was interesting. Loudwire put out an article saying Avenged Sevenfold's M Shadows offers insight on Ticketmaster pricing controversy.
Okay.
Loudwire
I
says
saw
with
this, but I haven't
Ticketmaster
seen exactly what he
company
said.
Live Nation currently in the headlines due to U.S. Department of Justice investigation and continued concerns from the public about rising ticket prices and concert ticket sales. Avenged Sevenfold frontman M Shadows weighed in online.
And just to be clear, I do think, like, because isn't it Ticketmaster that does like something like dynamic pricing or something like that, where it's almost like Uber, where there's so many people trying to get tickets and the price goes up or something like that. I could be totally wrong about that. However, I do think that the government should step in, especially if people are getting fucked over in terms of being the ability to buy tickets and whatnot. There should be some form of regulation if people are getting screwed in those types of ways. Absolutely.
And to express that some of the outrage against the ticketing giant may be misplaced. Really? All right. With the subject being a point of discussion for many music fans, Avenged Sevenfold's M Shadows offered his insight to the Live Nation and Ticketmaster ticketing concerns via...
Now, okay, I'm going to go into this. I'm assuming that this is going to be like an M Shadows kind of verse Taylor Swift thing. I'm very curious to see what he says. And yeah, if that dynamic pricing thing is like legit and like it functions like it just artificial, like it's like a plane tickets, right? Like, oh, there's 15 people looking, the price is up. That shit I think needs to be like go away.
A string of tweets. If you think Ticketmaster sets the price of tickets, you're wrong. The artist does. Shadows started, then added, if the supply is 52 stadiums, but the demand is 900 stadiums, you don't automatically deserve a ticket because you're a fan. Demand exceeded supply. Okay, I mean, that's a fair statement.
True.
Of course. I mean, that's fucking consumerism.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty obvious.
Saying, per dynamic pricing, artists have watched front row tickets go for 10 to 20 times the face value from scalpers, but see none of the upside. Ask yourself if that is fair. It may suck, but is it fair? I might be looking at this in the wrong way, but that statement to me reads like it's unfair that we're not.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying. He's like, well, listen, these people can sell these tickets for $1 million and we don't see anything about that. It's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, of course you wouldn't. Like, like how the fuck would they know to track? Like, oh, okay, well, unless Ticketmaster like allotted a certain percentage of all aftermarket sales to the artist or something. But like, okay, interesting.
Getting money from people scalping tickets, so we're just gonna up the price of tickets so we can make that money. When he said, if you think Ticketmaster sets the price of tickets, you're wrong. The artist does to a certain extent, maybe. But let's be very, very clear. It's not the band members. The band members aren't talking to Live Nation and saying, put our tickets at this price. It's management.
Yeah, and I know where Tank's going to go next, because then if your management is Live Nation, they're like, hey, let's just $100? Nah, $183, okay? Plus $90 in fees.
It's the team that represents the band. I would be fucking blown away if M Shadows is sitting down with Live Nation people deciding the prices of their tickets on Ticketmaster. The singer then called out recent politicians voicing their displeasure, adding, leave it to grandstanding politicians to get involved in something they know nothing about.
That's fair.
And leave it to artists to shrug their shoulders and point the blame.
Yeah.
From there, a number of responses from Shadow's followers on Twitter added to the discussion. The singer took it in stride, offering a wealth of insight to those with questions in the process.
To be fair, like, when M Shadows will talk about this stuff, I'll listen. The dude's been around forever. So, like, I'm not, like, disregarding anything he's saying.
The singer told one fan commenting on the fees that are often associated with tickets, 78% of fees because they are paying artists 100% of the door.
78% of fees because they are paying artists 100% of the door. Okay.
Music seems to be the only industry where it's not fair to charge what people are willing to pay.
That's fair, sadly.
When another Twitter follower posted the question, but isn't it most unfair on fans? They pay more either way. It sucks that a scalper is making money off your work, but you've been paid the original prices you set. No, this is.
Some of these people, it's hard to read what they say. But isn't it most unfair on fans? His text is kind of blocked.
The hard question, stated Shadows. If you make a living playing live and someone is willing to pay $2,000 for front row, but you are expected to keep the price $200, would you? And is that fair? You play 10 shows now to make that same money.
In general, I see what he's saying. However, I do think that there has to be, especially for, like, I don't know, maybe it's just like a personal thing when it comes to like music or like art or something like that. But I am definitely somebody who believes that you should make your money. Absolutely. But I also believe that there's something to be said about not milking your fans for every single cent they can possibly muster, in my opinion, because I think there's a lot of ancillary benefits to not charging people the absolute maximum that you can. For one, they'll be more happy that they bought the ticket. They'll be more excited about having the ticket because they don't feel like they just wasted, a mortgage payment on it, for example. They'll go to the show. They'll buy some merch potentially. They'll just because I think what happens, right, is like you buy the ticket and you already have like a negative interaction with the event because you've already spent just a shitload of money. And let's face it, listen, I don't give a fuck who you're seeing live. If you're spending $2,000 on a ticket, like, I don't know many scenarios where the show is going to live up to that value expectation, if that makes sense.
I mean, okay, let's backtrack a little. The singer told one fan commenting on the fees that are often associated with tickets, 78% of fees because they are paying artists 100% of the door. No fucking chance that is happening for the majority of artists. And I say majority because it might be happening for some. There is no fucking chance Live Nation and Ticketmaster are paying 100% of their ticket sales directly to the artists and only making their money from upcharges and fees.
Again, I don't know. That's a thing that's like, would M Shadows necessarily know that? I don't know. Is it possible? Sure. But there's really no way to know. I mean, I really have no idea.
There's no fucking way. I don't believe that. I don't fucking believe that.
But I can understand not believing it either. Yeah.
M Shadows is in a very fucking successful band.
Yeah.
And he's been in the business side of it. I have only worked for successful bands.
Yeah.
I have not always been involved in these business discussions. But I don't fucking believe that for 1 minute.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Rhaegor said he's right, though. If fans are willing to pay above face value for tickets, then why not value your worth by increasing ticket prices? I agree with that to a certain extent.
Yeah, that's what.
But the problem there becomes, let's look at the average Avenged Sevenfold fan. Do you think the average Avenged Sevenfold fan can comfortably afford to pay $300 tickets to go to a show? I guess my point here is that you have to take into account the situation of your fans.
Yeah.
Sure. You could fill an arena with people that could afford $300. Absolutely. And I bet there would be people that would pay it, and I bet that it would sell out. But I saw friends of mine talk about how they went into debt getting tickets for like the When We Were Young festival and stuff like that. It's like,
what's up, Keem? Thank you very much, man. How's it going? I appreciate the raid, man. I watched the entire podcast with you and Metal Burb today. That was some good stuff. I even got name dropped in there at the end. That was nice. That was cool. I appreciate it, man. How you doing? We're just listening to Tank talk about Live Nation here. Then we're gonna check out the Boundaries album. Yeah, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Like, do you want to feel proud of the fact that you can charge $500 a ticket to your fans and they love you so much that they'll do whatever it takes to spend that money? Or do you want to make sure that like your fans are comfortable and happy and available to go to your shows?
That's exactly what I was saying before. Just because, like, for example, let's use this Twitch stream as an example. Okay. If I knew that I could read everybody in the chat's minds, right? And I could look into everybody's mind. I could say, okay, when I take requests, I know that everybody could do $20 a request. Say I knew that, which if you did, that'd be crazy, which you should never do that. But I'm just saying, like, if I could read your mind and I knew that you could, I wouldn't, because again, what you're going to get out of that exchange is not going to be worth that money. It is going to be a negative interaction, and it doesn't necessarily make people want to come back and enjoy the show or the environment. You're just kind of like, fuck, man, I just wanted to see Avenged Sevenfold, but like now I'm spending like hundreds of dollars just to go see a band that really hasn't been, not a band that I've been into since like 2010. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. And Hardcore Keem, what's up, man, baby? What's up? Not included. Yeah, I was excited for When We Were Young festival, and I saw ticket prices not included. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, that stuff will never, in my mind, again, it could for other people, but in my mind, that kind of pricing for like just considering all the logistics of it and everything, I would be pissed just going. Like, I know myself, I couldn't do it. And what's up, Henry?
I'll tell you right now, I'm not a fan of Kid Rock, but I will say years ago,
that's up to the consumer, right? Like, I wanted to go to When We Were Young festival so bad, over $1,000 on it, like, not worth it. Yeah, it's totally up to the consumer. I just think that, like, there should be some level of healthy balance where, like, yeah, maybe, like, okay, like, say, for example, that you can get $100 out of somebody. Maybe you don't want to necessarily charge 10 because you're undervaluing yourself at that point, but you also don't want to charge 100 because, again, I think that there's, like I was saying before, there's some ancillary benefits to giving people like an affordable price, given, you know, the experience that you think that you can provide them, mixed with just all the ancillary benefits of it. You know, like there's just little things, like I was saying, like people will buy merch, people will take pictures, they'll share videos on Instagram, they'll share TikToks. You know, there's a lot of ancillary benefits. Like when you make people feel, when you give people something where the value that they're receiving is, in their minds, more than the experience that they're having, there's just a lot of things, like a lot of unpredictable things, a lot of unpredictable benefits that you could get from that, as opposed to just milking them from every cent, bleeding them out to dry, and hoping that they do it all again the next time you come through town. That's my opinion, but I totally get not wanting to undersell yourself. Believe me, as somebody who, you know, I make a living now as a freelance writer. I wrote for many years for next to nothing. I will never, ever write again for free. But I get, you know, there being a balance, especially for something like the arts, like music. Throwback to Warped Tour, $55 general admission. Yeah, it was like, it was just easy. You know, it was like, here's the price, bam.
He did a fucking amazing thing where he did an arena tour where he struck a deal where like tickets were dirt fucking cheap, and he even struck a deal with the beer vendors at the shows where beers were like $4. That is a dude that absolutely is thinking
that's
about,
and that's what I'm saying. You're talking about Kid Rock, right?
And comfortable and happy and available to go to your shows. I'll tell you right now, I'm not a fan of Kid Rock, but I will say years ago, he did a fucking amazing thing where he did an arena tour where he struck a deal where like tickets were dirt fucking cheap, and he even struck a deal with the beer vendors at the shows where beers were like $4.
See, and here we go. We got Tank talking about that. He's not really a fan of the guy, but he's talking about it because it's like a positive thing that I think carries a lot of weight. So, there, like I said, there's benefits to it.
That is a dude that absolutely is thinking about like the lifestyle and the comfortability of his fans. How much did those tickets go for on StubHub? No fucking idea. But that's
another ticket. Okay, StubHub. Okay, I couldn't. Okay, now that's another one. We got Eventbrite, Live Nation, Ticketmaster, and StubHub. Okay, that's another one.
That's not the point. The point is that he fucking went out of his way to make sure ticket prices were low. It can be done.
Yeah.
So you've got M Shadows, who is saying, like, if you can charge that much for tickets, you
StubHub is owned by Ticketmaster? Let's find out. He might be right. Is StubHub owned by Ticketmaster? Who owns StubHub? Here, let's go to the Wikipedia. Who owns it? Parent via GoGo. Okay. I guess not. It looks like it might be separate. Ticketmaster, StubHub was owned by eBay. That was back in 2014. Maybe, I don't know if that's the case now, but our Ticketmaster and StubHub are the same company. Unlike Ticketmaster, which sells tickets directly to consumers, StubHub is more of a ticket marketplace where individuals can list their tickets available for sale. Yeah, so it looks like they're separate.
Should. And then you got another guy saying, I saw a quote in here that said he wants his fans to like be comfortable and have a good time.
Oh, that's funny, Henry.
And hats off to him for doing that. Offering some clarification to one follower who asked about Blink-182's Platinum pre-sale jumping from $375 to $550 after a 5-minute window, Shadow explained that it was dynamic pricing so the artist sees upside, not the scalpers. Another Twitter follower pointed out
okay. See, that's the thing with the dynamic pricing is that depending on how the breakdown is of how much the artist gets from the ticket sales, I could understand the argument of there being dynamic pricing to avoid scalping, but I don't know. I feel like that's something I have to think more about. That is something I'd have to think more about.
Broker makes more than an artist, it's f***ed. Shadows commented, just to point out, Ticketmaster, Live Nation lose lots of money on many, many tours. Okay, let's go. Let's find a link here. What he said is not necessarily false, but there are far, far, far more tours and events that Live Nation makes a profit on. Let's look.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't surprise me. This reminds me a lot of Amazon, where Amazon for however long wasn't making a profit necessarily, but what they had, which was very valuable, is market share, which is what Live Nation and Ticketmaster definitely has.
This was just released, I believe, in August. Financial overview for the second quarter of 2022 for Live Nation Entertainment. This is versus 2019, pre-pandemic.
Okay.
Operating income up 86% to $319 million.
Yep.
AOI up 50% to $480 million. Operating cash flow hit $349 million. Free cash flow up 72% to $379 million. So, M Shadows is not specifically wrong.
I don't know. Is that like I'd have to really like dig more into like the full picture of the company, but I don't know if that is that. I wonder if given like the status of the company, I don't know if that's like a lot of money. Like, I don't know how to gauge that necessarily. So like, it sounds like a lot, right? But it's like, I don't know. That's something that you'd have to dive like deeper into.
By stating that Ticketmaster and Live Nation lose lots of money on many tours.
Well, I don't necessarily think that that's like not true. I mean, I'm sure that what it is that they have, you know, some of the big hitters that are what really, you know, drive a lot of their revenue, and they probably, you know, probably like anything else, like break even or lose a little bit on something else just to have the market share. I think that there's a trade-off there where it's like you're willing to lose some money for market share. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things that are involved with this that are, how would I put this? Probably a little bit above my pay grade in terms of understanding, but it's interesting.
I don't know if I would have said many, many tours like he did, but he's not necessarily wrong. Ticketmaster and Live Nation has lost money on tours that they've promoted and sold. I've been on some of those tours for sure. Like, I know I've been on some of those tours. I won't say who it was, but there was a fucking massive band that I toured with that did an arena tour where those shows were like half sold every night, and everybody expected it to be sold out. I know that Live Nation lost out on those tours, but the amount of profit that they make from the other events and tours they do far outweighs the losses. As you can see, their fucking profits are up 80% in some cases.
Yeah.
So don't fucking start telling me that Live Nation and Ticketmaster is fucking losing money. Another follower asked, can we solve instant scalping, enabling resellers to immediately sell on the Ticketmaster Live Nation site for 10 times the price only hurts true fans? Shadows commented, in this case, I feel they did. 3.5 million people signed up for verified fan. 1.5 got tickets. Most of these people will sell the tickets because the profit is so large.
True. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If I bought a Taylor Swift ticket, I'd resell it. I'm just being honest. Like, I'm just being honest.
I think that's a lot of what's happening. I wouldn't say most. 1.5 million people got tickets to go see Taylor Swift. Those people are going to see Taylor Swift.
I don't know. I mean, again, there's no way to know how many would, but I'm telling you right now, like, if I knew that I could resell a ticket for thousands of dollars, fuck yeah, I would. I mean, like, again, but that's just me, right? Like, that's a personal thing. Like, getting the thousands of dollars for a ticket sale would far outweigh an experience, depending on what the experience is, okay? But generally speaking, there's not many concert experiences that are worth thousands of dollars to me.
Swift. Did some scalpers get in there, and are they going to upsell those tickets? Absolutely. We've seen it online.
Yeah.
We see that the Taylor Swift tickets are going fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say most of those people are fucking reselling and scalping those tickets. Raygord?
Let's just see real quick. Like, let's use StubHub. I kind of want to see what some of these Taylor Swift tickets are going for. I'm kind of curious because I know that it's not Live Nation or whatever, but yeah, let's see. Taylor Swift. Okay. Let's just click this one here. How many tickets do you want? Guys, how many tickets are we buying? How many are we buying? 3? 2? I feel like we should do an even number. Let's say we want 4. 10? Oh my God. How many tickets that are seated together? Of course. Okay, let's see. All right. Now, listen, we're big Taylor Swift fans, so we want to be down close to the stage. We don't want to be up in the nosebleeds, okay? Let's look at A14. Okay. See, now here's the thing. Like, we're all Swifties. Exactly. See, like, okay, so you got 1350, 18, 16, 2. So, like, let's say, like, the median price here is, like, $2,400. If I knew that I could buy a Taylor Swift ticket for like a couple $100 and resell it for that, I would. That's just me. That's like a random event,
perfect,
though.
in my opinion. I've been talking about this with tons of other people.
4.8K the highest, yeah.
Dynamic pricing is turning regular people into scalpers. The dynamic pricing thing that they're doing, I get the logic behind it.
Yeah.
It's a supply and demand consumerism thing. Like, if there's a big demand, we can get more money, I know, but like, it's obviously not working how it was supposed to be intended to work.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. I don't know if that's algorithmically done, like, based off of the amount of users and how long they're on the site for, and I don't know. I don't know how they determine it. I'd be very interested.
Shadow's also recently.
Yeah, see where this guy right here in his chat says, I'd resell my $500 ticket if I could get $1,500 for it. Absolutely. That's my man right there.
He shared his opinion on another music industry topic, commenting that he viewed.
But then again, I'm sorry to keep pausing, but like, maybe this is bad of me to say, but I'll just say it. I'm assuming that on average, the people that go to a Taylor Swift concert are probably doing a little bit better socioeconomically. They're making a little bit more money than, like, say, somebody who wants to go to, let's just use another example from earlier, Kid Rock or Avenged Sevenfold. So, like, to me, I don't feel as bad if I was to resell them a ticket for, 5, 10x the price, because they're just doing better financially. I mean, to be honest.
Use selling multiple versions of an album to boost chart numbers as being fan abuse. That's an interesting statement, because I want to know what the logic on that is. If it's money, then everything he's just said has just become a giant hypocritical thing. I don't understand how his opinion is that selling multiple versions of an album, and I'll include re-releases and limited editions like that with this. He didn't say that, I did. But that's what I see. Multiple versions of an album. You got deluxe, you've got reissues, you've got this version, that version. To boost chart numbers as being fan abuse. If you're upset about selling multiple versions of an album that fans have to pay more money for to boost your own numbers, how are you not upset about Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing? It's the same fucking thing. Same fucking thing.
Let me hear what he said again.
You got deluxe, you've got reissues, you've got this version, that version. To boost chart numbers as being fan abuse. If you're upset about selling multiple versions of an album that fans have to pay more money for to boost your own numbers, how are you not upset about Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing? It's the same fucking thing.
Huh. Yeah, because I remember it was M Shadows. He was saying something about Taylor Swift like redoing her albums and like the re-recordings or whatever, so she could own the masters. I guess in a way, like, I also think that's just like I don't agree with that necessarily. It's like again, it's all about creating the value. There's going to be dedicated fans that are going to want to support Taylor, regardless of having however many millions of dollars that she has, because they know the backstory of how she got fucked over by that other company. So she's re-releasing these, and they're like, fuck yeah, and they're gonna buy it to support that cause.
Same fucking thing. You're making your fans pay more just because they will and you can. I think the entire situation.
But then again, I don't know. Like with deluxe albums or whatnot, I think it all goes back to creating that value. Like, are you adding more songs to it? Is there like some sort of special memento within it? Things like that.
Could have been avoided in 2010, but obviously it didn't. And like I said, I don't have proof, but I think we can all say it's probably because somebody was making money or getting their pockets padded. I don't know what's going to happen, but something obviously needs to be changed because this isn't a new thing. Live Nation has been skirting the line of bad business practices for fucking years. I've personally seen it. Well, that's about it for this conversation, at least on Twitch. We could probably continue it somewhere else. But thank you to everybody that was here and everybody that put in your points as well. And if you're watching this video on YouTube later, if it's even good enough to make into a YouTube video, feel free to join us on Twitch. We stream regularly Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. We check out music. We talk about the industry. Twitch.tv/TankTheTech. I'm also on a ton of different social media. All the links are
you guys go. Here's this video.
And until next time, my name's Tank, and I'll be back very soon with some other kind of video.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's a complicated subject because I think the problem with a subject like this is that there's a lot of variables to it that just regular people will never know about. To me, I wish that the fees were explained as to how they arrive at the amounts that they get to. I have no idea. Maybe there is like some fine print or something that's very laid out, like here's why, but I've never seen it. But I think that is crazy. The dynamic ticket pricing, I kind of understand that to kind of try to prevent scalping, but then again, it's almost like you're being scalped by the site rather than just like a random person. So I don't know. I can't believe they were allowed to merge. Yeah, I think that it's like a isn't there a word for like a monopoly that's not technically a monopoly? I don't know if there is or not, but it's like. It's very clear that, like, in terms of like retailer ticket sales, not like an aftermarket hub like StubHub, but like we are the retailer of the tickets. There's really not that many that I can think of outside of Ticketmaster. Like, there's Eventbrite, and that's really all I can think of. Like, I mean, maybe there's more, and I've just never really paid attention. But they obviously have a stranglehold. But then again, I know that Tank was talking about how like they kind of have like a diversified sort of company in terms of like management, venues, this, that, the other thing. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because it's like I think that like if any company could do that, they would. And again, you can't really deem that aspect of it as a monopoly because they're entering into different markets where there's a whole other host of competitors or whatnot. Ticketmaster regularly has $20 fees or $30. Yeah, I mean, here, let's just... it would be too involved, but I'd like to go try to buy a ticket, so to speak, and see. But yeah, I know that I get gouged on the fees all the time. The fees are stupid. There's been so many times where like I've had the option like to not with Ticketmaster, but like Eventbrite, where it's like, oh, you can get the ticket online for like like $10.99 or pick it up in person for free. It's like, what kind of person would not pick it up for free? I mean, that's just ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting subject. I definitely do think that Ticketmaster dropped the ball with the whole Taylor Swift thing because, again, but here's the thing. They did drop the ball, but am I surprised that $1 billion company didn't have the infrastructure ready for the demand of it? No, because, listen, man, they're a corporation. They're going to cut costs wherever they can. And if they can, oh, fuck, well, this doesn't work great. Fuck it, we'll worry about it later. It's just kind of the way it goes. So I'm not surprised by that, but... it's definitely something that they probably in hindsight wish didn't happen because now they're being investigated by the U.S. Department of Justice. And when you're, in the position of a Live Nation or a Ticketmaster, you're probably like, we really don't want the government sniffing around. So was it, should they have invested the money as like a prohibitive cost to not have to worry about a government investigation? Probably. They didn't. So now we'll see what happens in the ongoing saga that is corporation versus government.